Sawadee krap. My name is Imtiaz Muqbil. I am the executive editor of Travel Impact Newswire based in Bangkok. I have been covering the Asia Pacific travel and tourism industry since 1981. My detailed notes, research, reports and columns over the last 40 years are now being compiled into an unmatched history of travel and tourism, which I am sharing free so that future generations may learn the lessons of history, replicate our past successes, and avoid repeating past mistakes. This lecture, the final one of 2021 in the Power of History series, will focus on the loss of balance, which I consider to be the biggest failure of global tourism. The COVID crisis has been termed the worst crisis of this century. In dealing with it, leaders have had to juggle the delicate balance between safeguarding lives and protecting livelihoods, as Thai Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha said in a recent speech. Climate change is a similar nightmare. A destabilization of the environmental balance is also deeply impacting both lives and livelihoods. So, flashback to February 1999. 22 years ago, I claimed to be the first to have flagged that the challenge of finding the right balance would take center stage in the years ahead. In 1998, PATA moved its headquarters to Bangkok to take advantage of the Asian century, and I was named editor of Issues and Trends, the flagship publication of the PATA Strategic Information Center as it was then known. In February 1999, just 10 months before the dawn of a new century, I conceptualized and compiled an edition devoted entirely to the pursuit of balance in the 21st century. The very first two opening paragraphs of my analysis made that forecast crystal clear. Please pause the recording here and read it for yourself. The special edition included a 10-point balance scorecard, the first of its kind. The checklist was intended to help decision makers build the concept of balance into their planning and development strategies, especially for the growing number of new and emerging destinations. It was designed to help them adopt a slow and steady approach, challenge textbook theories, avoid getting locked into a crazily competitive rat race, and protect them from boom and bust cycles as well as the ripple effect of external shocks. Today, I am proud to claim that my forecast is proving 100% right. In December 2021, just a few days ago, the management consultancy company Arthur D. Little devoted an entire issue to the post-COVID era. Its very first agenda item was rebalancing for tomorrow. Many other studies by global think tanks and institutions are reaching the same conclusion. My 1999 forecast was based on a meticulous assessment of internal and external factors shaping the world in the 1990s. The travel and tourism trends were researched at the November 1998 World Travel Mart in London, where nearly all the seminars and press conferences were discussing what lay in store for the 21st century. When these trends were analyzed in the context of the broader operating environment, it became clear very quickly that the world was on track to lose its sense of balance. The first and most important indicator was spiritual. The pursuit of open market capitalism had strayed the Asia Pacific region, and specifically Thailand, from the middle path of balanced moderation taught by the Lord Buddha. Travel and tourism itself gleefully commercialized this spiritual history and heritage in marketing campaigns, but did not actually factor it into its own development agendas. Secondly, the environmental destruction caused by the economic growth as well as mass tourism also violated the laws of balanced and harmonious creation, which are at the heart of the Abrahamic religions. It also violated the principles of balance and harmony embedded in the centuries-old lifestyles of indigenous peoples globally. This link between balance and spirituality touches every aspect of life today. Balance is the basis of good health. When we have to see a doctor, the first requirement is a temperature check. These days, we need a temperature check no matter where we go. Good health is also based on what we consume, and a balanced diet is critical. Balance is at the core of justice. respect for human rights, due process, and the right to a fair trial. It is at the core of financial systems. Corporate profit and loss statements are integral components of a balance sheet. The pursuit of a better work-life balance is also gathering steam. Witness the growing trend towards 4-day workdays and work-from-home schemes. Check and balance mechanisms are fundamental principles of good governance across every category of corporate and institutional management. Without a balanced transportation design, nothing could move, fly, or sail. The human body is similarly designed, perfectly shaped, in perfect unison and balance. To balance the perspectives, I incorporated the views of the poor, gleaned from the many world social forums I was covering. In addition to tourism, these featured topics such as war and conflict, gender equality, poverty alleviation, social inequities, financial problems, trade and agriculture, and many more. The poor were bearing the brunt of Asia's multiple crises and deserved to be heard. It was also a direct follow-up to the call by the late King Rama IX the Great for Thailand to craft a sufficiency economy philosophy. He made this call in 1997 when the financial economic crisis hit Thailand and spread just like a health pandemic right across Asia. The late king clearly placed the Buddhist path of balance and moderation at the heart of his sufficiency economy concept. The concept of balance was also embedded in the UN Millennium Development Goals, the original agenda for 2001 to 15, which was in the planning stages in the late 1990s. The world failed to achieve those eight goals. They were then rebranded as the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs as they are named today, covering the current 2016 to 2030 period. The COVID debacle has jeopardized the fulfillment of these goals too. Because the 21st century was just a few months away, the edition included a list of 21 trends which would dominate the incoming century. Nearly all of them have proven accurate. Here are just two. In 2005, I did a follow-up edition, revisiting the concept of balance. This was just a few months after the December 2004 tsunami disaster, when tourism was again resounding with calls to build back better and convert a crisis into an opportunity. Read it for yourself and see the clear warning about the consequences of mass tourism. All this too fell on deaf ears. In 2019, 20 years after my 1999 warning forecast, PATA organized an event in Pattaya, where one of the speakers was an American marketing guru. He said exactly what I had written 20 years earlier. When I pointed this out in my article, it was met with a frosty silence. Today, the concept of balance will drive the post-COVID development agenda. However, there is again growing evidence that the chasms of imbalance are again widening still further. Past mistakes are being repeated. Imbalanced and inequitable growth is likely to get worse. Travel and tourism will need to narrow the clear imbalances between the budgets spent on hardware and infrastructure as against education and training, as well as between budgets spent on marketing and generating growth as against managing it. Tourism leaders need a quick recovery from the COVID-19 downturn. As with just about every previous post-crisis recovery, short-term priorities take up 95% of the effort. Tourism has a chance to make a fresh start from a nearly clean slate. A well-balanced recovery should be the basis of a new Global Tourism Magna Carta. In upcoming lectures, I will take up each of the 10 points on my 1999 balanced scorecard checklist. Those interested in exploring the forward-thinking topics I covered during my tenure with PATA's Issues and Trends, all the editions can be downloaded from the link on the screen. Thank you for watching. I wish all viewers a healthy, safe and stress-free New Year 2022. If this lecture gave you food for thought, please click like and subscribe to the Travel Impact Newswire channel. Many more groundbreaking lectures are coming up. Academics, consultants, and anyone else who use any of the material, please kindly have the professional courtesy to give credit. Thank you and Sawadee Krap.